they need to build some momentum that they can get into the end zone before the end of the half with only 1 minute and 20 seconds left. I'm totally wrong.
And it's complete to number 27. He had maybe 2 steps on the Panthers defender. That was London Perron coverage. But he got just enough open, and he comes down with a huge completion for the Eagles.
What a gutsy call by the coaching staff. That's aggressive. That's aggression and being aggressive, and that's why I don't coach defense. I wouldn't have seen that one coming.
Well, those of you just joining us on YouTube, we did have some technical issues on YouTube. It has been streaming on Facebook the whole time. Some are tuning in on YouTube, some on Facebook. We apologize for that, but we've got you now here. The Eagles have the ball down by 6 with only 1 minute left in the second quarter. They're looking to try to get into the end zone and knot this game up before halftime. They just came off a huge completion there.
Those hitches are scary. He's throwing the ball backwards. If he missed that ball's live. You got to have confidence in your quarterback and in your receivers to call that play.
Definitely a risky play at times. It can easily turn into a touchdown the other way if it's scooped up. But here we go. Second and long. Eagles have trouble with the snap. He's just going to wisely throw it away, but he did have a defender over there. That was Jet. But they come away with nothing. That set up a third down and a crucial decision here for the Eagles. What do you do in this situation, Mike? 33 seconds.
Third and long. I doubt they probably have a kicker who can, make a 32-yard field goal. So, bread and butter. I mean, they're a throwing team. They're a passing team. They're an aggressive coaching staff. I'm going to say they don't necessarily need to take a shot now. They have timeouts left. So, you can run the ball here. Maybe that little jet sweep that we saw. Coach Schmidt's calling a timeout with the Panthers.
So that's a timeout. Before the timeout was called, they came out in what looked like a 3 receivers to the strong side and 1 ISO receiver here on the backside. And if you get the right matchup, if you get man coverage, that's maybe a time the Eagles want to just chuck it deep. They definitely show that that's the strength of this offense.
Yep.
Just completed one moments ago, a big one. So kind of showing that maybe that's a kink in the armor of this stout Panthers defense.
Yeah, I can see Coach Schmidt sending some pressure. I mean, right now, if they're going to throw, he's going to match the throw with some pressure. But the Eagles, they basically, it's third down. So, whether they get a first down or not, they got to take a shot deep. So why not take a shot, into the end zone? So we'll see what their coaches come up with.
Yeah, you really, one thing you don't want to do is turn the ball over with 33 seconds left and then have them Panthers, run an 80-yard touchdown here and make it 13-0.
Yeah.
So I would say take a shot here, get your defense ready to come back out there and focus again. Here we go. Third down, out of the shotgun. Same formation, 3 receivers to the strong side. He's going to get the ball out, and nicely defended by Panthers defensive back. That's number 10. I think it was number 10. I don't see his name here on the roster.
It's hard to see. It's all the way across the field for us. But what a heads-up play, knocking the ball down instead of intercepting it when then you'd be back on your own 5-yard line. At least you're kind of giving yourself a chance at the 23 or 24-yard line. Whether it was intended or not, to me it looks like a really heads-up play.
Let's go with that. I think he knew exactly what he was doing in that situation. Knocks the ball to the ground. And now the Panthers have 27.3 seconds here before the half. They've had success off the left side with that toss. They're going to go to the right this time, but running back wasn't ready for it. He's going to do his best to make something out of this, but he's tackled, and that's going to bring the clock down to 18.6 seconds. You definitely don't want to turn it back over to the Eagles at this point if you're the Panthers. They want to get it into the half. Even with only 6-point lead, that's still something in a game like this where every point is going to be earned.
Yeah, the clock's running. this would be a time when I would probably think it's time to just take a knee, let the clock run all the way down. The Eagles aren't using their timeouts. They probably could have. They have 2 of them left, but they're trying for another sweep.
So they go to the right side again, and that's Marvin, who is a dangerous, or is that Marvin?
Shiloh.
Shiloh. Shiloh is a dangerous running back, but that's gonna do it for the first half. Mike, your impression here?
I'm really impressed with the Panthers and the Eagles. I had no idea what to expect. Knowing the Panthers players and the coaches like I do, I knew they'd be ready. And when I showed up and you gave me that note that half the Eagles team is new, these kids are showing well. They are tough. They are well coached, and they are playing hard. And it's impressive to see such a dynamic passing offense with 1, such young players, and 2, such new players to the game. So this second half is going to be really fun. The Panthers they haven't been tested like this.
No.
They haven't been in a game where it's been, this close and this tight this year. So, we're looking forward to a good second half.
Definitely a good second half coming up. We're going to go to break shortly. Stick around. We're going to have NCAFA's fearless leader, the president, come up and join us for a quick chat. And then we're going to have the second half for you. For everyone joining online, try to share the link on your Facebook or share it, tweet it out. We're trying to promote this game and promote these young athletes at this level that are putting it all out on the field here. I'm Jesse Card here with Mike Rouleau, and we'll be back shortly. Nice.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Arturo's Restaurant, located at 94 Beechwood Avenue in Vanier. The House Edge Sports Network would like to thank Cora's Restaurant on Saint Laurent for its support of this broadcast. HESN would like to thank Abley Productions for its support of this broadcast. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Arturo's Restaurant, located at 94 Beechwood Avenue in Vanier.
And we are back here. I'm joined in the broadcast booth with the president of NCAFA, Steve Dean. Welcome to the show. What do you think of the game so far?
Isn't this fantastic? Looking at 10 and 11-year-old kids running and gunning. throwing the ball, catching the ball. This is just tremendous. Football's alive and well at the Mosquito level for sure.
Well, you certainly got a good passing game there at the Eagles Mosquito team. Mike and I were talking about how impressed we are of some of the capabilities of these players at this level.
Well, I think it's also a tribute to the coaching, the fact that these kids, both teams, running sound defensive strategies. Offensively, they were working a whole bunch of stuff, halfback option, and these are things that take a long time to develop, but certainly these kids are picking them up quickly.
So the age groups were maybe a big step 3 years ago.
Yep.
Moving that down, the latest and probably the most publicized and promoted change at the league level has been the Midget Big Ten and the QMFL conference at the midget level. In your perception so far, we're into week 8 at the midget level. How has that gone so far in your mind?
Oh, I think it's tremendous, and I think our partners in the QMFL would say the same thing. No league has dominated, certainly in terms of the interlocking games. There's some strong teams on the Quebec side and Ottawa as well. Happy to see Canada going undefeated so far in the midget level. They've really turned things around. And certainly looking forward to the playoffs, which will select the Interprovincial Bowl champs or participants. So
that's right.
That's something to look forward to.
So the Eagles, I believe, will play Canada next, and that's at TD Place.
Yes.
So that's another great experience for the young players to play in such a world-class facility like that.
Oh yeah.
What do you think that does to the players when they get that experience?
Well, I think these guys are one step away from university, and they're seeing this the opportunity to play on the same field that the pros play and university plays. I think they've got the change rooms open for the kids, which is a nice little treat. But certainly, watching a good Panda game last week with a lot of NCAFA players on it, our midget level is the next step for it. So it's all good.
It's fantastic. So we've got the second half coming up here. It's a 6-0 game, so it's a tight game. What's your prediction here in the second half, and who's going to come out victorious here tonight, Steve?
Well, I'm hoping the Eagles can pick up a play or two to even the score. But certainly, Cumberland's running attack is tremendous. I think it's going to be which defense is going to let what go first. But either way, it's been a great game so far, and I hope the second half's the same.
You heard it. Steve Dean, president of NCAFA. How many years has it been, Steve?
More than when I count on my fingers and toes, so it's been a while.
We'll leave it at that. Done a fantastic job leading football in Ottawa, and with the resurrection of the Red Blacks, the Ravens, you've been a part of all of that. So I want to thank you on behalf of HESN and the football community for all that you do.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and a lot of great people make this work. It's not just one person, but I'm happy to see football alive and well, and certainly this game emulates where the younger guys are, and we're in pretty good shape with this. Is what we're looking forward to.
So we'll be back with the second half shortly. Thanks for tuning in. We are back here with the second half. Eagles set to kick off. And a real tight game so far. If you're just joining us now, it's 6-0 for the Panthers in these two undefeated teams here towards the end of the season. It's going to be recovered by Marvin. He's got the ball out to the left side towards the Panthers bench. He's wrapped up, but he's going to give the Panthers offense first crack at it. And they're out about the 40-yard line.
Such great pursuit and tackling by the Eagles. They're they're right there. They're in this game, and they're coming for these Panthers.
So far we've seen this Panthers offense execute really well off the left side of the Eagles defense. The sweep game has been working well. It's been coupled with a couple dives that have gone for some major yardage. We haven't seen any too much trickery here or passing out of the Panthers, but we'll see what the second half has in store. Quarterback is under the center. Maybe got away with another procedure there, but they're going to go deep and complete it to number 11. And that's going to be up to about the 48-yard line of the Eagles.
Just when you were saying that, I was thinking we haven't seen a pass by the Panthers. We had a halfback pass, but nothing traditional from the quarterback. And first play right out of the gun from the second half.
That's St. Laurent on a big post play that converts and gives the Panthers a fresh set of downs. Here we go. I'd say that's a really nice pass, placed perfectly for St. Laurent. And they go back to the sweep game off the right side. Shiloh gets a gashing the Eagles defense for another maybe 25-yard gain.
That play's set up really well. You've got a good lead block in Marvin. They come back, can't call it crackback anymore. That block doesn't exist, but they bring St. Laurent down along the line to take that outside man, and they just let Shiloh run and turn the corner. And if he makes it and the blocking is there, it's going to be a big play, and that's what happened.
So they're moving the ball quickly here in the start of the second quarter. And here we go. So the Panthers with a first down, going under the center, pro back with those two running backs in the backfield. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. With any of these guys, they can do it and get the job done. This time the Eagles wrap up.
Now it's about the adjustments, right? The halftime adjustments the coaches make, and the players know. They've seen these plays now for a half of football. They know what's coming. It's just who can execute better. And that play specifically, the Eagles got penetration. They got some big kids on that D-line, and they got in. They made a good tackle on Marvin.
Larazar getting the ball. I think even distribution for the two running backs so far, and the O-line for the Panthers have really held their own here so far. And this is a very good Eagles defense that they're up against here tonight. Oh, under pressure, he's hit as he releases it, and I think that disrupted the trajectory of the ball there. It goes incomplete.
Yeah, the Eagles are running, you can call it a traditional 44 front, but they've only got two guys that put their hands down. They're two defensive tackles. They keep a lot of linebackers and a lot of guys around the line of scrimmage. Again, coaching adjustments and scouting. They know that the Panthers run the ball. And so now at halftime, if you're going to run 8 men in the box with no safeties, Coach Perron is going to take his shots. And that's what he was looking for in the first half. And now he's making the adjustments to try to throw the ball in the middle of the field because there's no safety back there.
It's a great observation, Mike. They go back to the toss. They feel comfortable with this play, and they're getting big yardage with it. Shiloh really using that stiff arm, and it's working. He's every time he extends that arm on the defender, he's buying himself 5, 6, 7 yards after contact.
Yeah, his big brother's teaching him something.
That's right. We're referring obviously to Fabrice, a great football player in his own right, coming off just a record-breaking year in the OPFL with the Panthers at the JV level, and definitely love to see him play some more football in his later years of his NCAFA career.
Yeah, he's currently suiting up for the St. Peter's Knights here in the East End, so his football career is not done.
Yep, absolutely. Far from it.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
The Eagles got the ball here. I'm not quite. I guess that was third down, was it?
It was, but they've got a guy running off the sidelines, and they had to huddle twice. And
a little bit of confusion. The Eagles run that reverse again and cuts it back up towards the middle of the field. They're going to get probably 8 yards on that first down play.
I think everybody was confused there.
Nonetheless, the Eagles get the ball back here, and they're really looking to probably I would think maybe sustain a drive. They want to keep their offense on the field for a little bit longer than they have in the past. Give, obviously, the defense some time to regroup and gather and strategize against this run game that seems to be, if they can stop that tonight, they've got a really good chance. Still in the game, obviously, with only down by 6.
Especially at this time, at this position of the field, right? We talked about that earlier in the game at the 25-yard line.
So Provo gets back, throws it incomplete. Once again, feeling the pressure in his face. He doesn't have much time to get rid of it.
Durand once again.
Durand. We've mentioned his name lots tonight.
I know Coach Schmidt's defensive system very well, and it's the quickest way from one point to another, and it's straight. It's a straight line. He loves sending that middle linebacker right up the middle, and that's what Durand's doing right now. He's getting all that pressure on the quarterback, and looks like they're going to have to try to punt again.
So they got 4 backs there to help with the protection. He's able to get it off cleanly. And once again, we still haven't seen London Perron get his hands on that ball.
Yeah, that was number 36, Ashton Chartrand, and he, again, he's not necessarily used to holding the ball and forgot to get his knee up. And had the knee on the ground when he picked up the ball, so it's obviously a dead ball right there. But still in very good field position for the Panthers.
That's right, Mike. They've had, I'd say, more success offensively out of the two teams. Obviously, the scoreboard would dictate that. But really, just a close matchup we're watching here tonight on HESN Live. We've got Mosquito, NCAFA football at its best. 2 undefeated teams, one from the west, one from the east. And it's first down Panthers. It's going to be a bit of a kind of a counter dive. And that's going to go for about 3 or 4 yards. And set up a 2nd and 6.
That Eagles defense, that's hard for offensive linemen to pick up. So I think they did a good job getting 5 yards there, but they didn't have one guy with their hand down. So, who knows who's coming and who knows who's backing out or what hole those defensive linemen are coming through. And again, this goes to coaching and repetition at practice and these kids buying in and learning and being willing to be taught and coached. And this Eagles defense is holding a very potent Panthers offense to only 6 points is pretty impressive.
2nd and 6 for the Panthers. They run the same play just off to the probably the 2-hole there, and he's going to chug close to a first down, but finally gang tackled. And is there a flag down here, Mike?
First down.
Oh, it is. They do have a first down. Okay.
So Shiloh McKendy off a broken play, bad handoff. Defensive lineman got into the quarterback, and it was a broken play, but that's one of his strengths is turning something out of nothing, and he was able to pick up 5-6 yards and get the first down. That's still very prevalent in Tyke and Mosquito football. Is not everything's super crisp.
That's right, and sometimes it's just capitalizing on those sloppy plays that lead to scores and championships in some cases.
Yeah, and just athlete on athlete sometimes too.
So there we go. They're running up between the tackles now, and follows right behind his guard there. And once again, getting 5 clean yards off of that play. And with those types of runs, Mike, they can really slow down the pace of the game a little bit. They can draw a lot of notches off the clock. And sometimes that can be really beneficial, not only for the defense, but it can tire out the other team's defense.
I mean, the goal of the game is to win. Doesn't matter if you win by 1 point or if you win by 50 points. So if they're just prepared to milk the clock and 5 yards at a time and just keep chugging along and getting first downs, eventually those first downs are going to turn into another score. And that's what the Eagles need to do. They need to get to this quarterback and get off the field.
Oh! So he just decided to go to the passing game. He took a shot. Looked like he had maybe 2 receivers in the same place on the field, which typically you don't want to see. That is defended. It was batted down out of danger, and
on comes the punting team. 3rd down and 6. Do we anticipate another fake?
Well, I think in this situation, you might like to just punt it deep. Get it down there as far as you can, and maybe hope for the returner to fumble it. Jump on it, maybe leads to a score here. They're going to do it. Perron
to
gets
the corner,
it down.
gets a good roll
Good
right
bounce.
down to the 5-yard line. Okay, they're going to give him no yards. There's going to be a penalty, but it's only of the 5-yard variety because it had hit the ground, not caught in the air. And, the Panthers defense, again, who haven't let up a point all year, have pinned the Eagles at the 10-yard line. So I think that's exactly what Coach Schmidt wanted.
So you talk about not letting a point up all year. Kind of reminds me of a karate-led Tyke team a few years ago. I think they faced the West Carleton Wolverines in the A-Cup final back on the old Millennium Field behind us.
Yep.
And, we haven't seen that type of success on the defensive side of the ball since the karate Tyke team, I don't think.
That was a good offense, too, don't forget. There's somebody in the booth here leading that offense. Don't want to give all the credit to Hendricks' defense.
Right,
but,
yeah.
We had a lot of success with that 2003 birth year age group of kids. And, the Panthers and the Eagles are two stout programs across the city, and you're going to see these kids face off against each other in many A-Cups for the next number of years.
That's right. Can't wait. They go back to that receiver. Oh, a bit of a lucky bounce and a completion, and the Eagles are going to he's got to cut back, but what a gain and what a completion by the Nepean Eagles. They're running that receiver hitch pass.
Yep. And to what looked like the same side slot. I don't think it was to the other side. No, he just took off from that same slot. So, they're just hoping that there's going to be somebody bites up, and that's what happened. And then there you just saw the corner bite, and there was a receiver and
it was actually really well defended by Perron, but nonetheless, they get it. That sets up 1st and 10, and they flip the field successfully. They go back to the pass game. Oh, nearly intercepted, and if that was by London, that would have been a pick 6, I believe.
He read it, he saw it, and just wasn't able to hang on to the ball.
So the Eagles getting away with a lucky one, 2 lucky ones, really, back-to-back. The completion there first that you just saw had a look at, and then now nearly a pick 6. But they retain possession. It's 2nd and 10. And this is, I think, one of those critical points in the game if the Eagles want to come away with a score on this drive. Quarterback confusion. Tosses it quickly out to his running back, and he makes at least 5 or 6 yards on that, and that could have been a lot worse.
We just saw it, right? The broken play that Shiloh ran 5 yards, and now a broken play that an Eagles running back ran 5 yards. Not quite 5, 3 or 4 yards, but like I said, sometimes it's just athlete on athlete, and that kind of stuff happens. You got a miscommunication in the backfield, and one guy just takes it upon himself and gets positive yards at least.
Absolutely right, Mike, and I think this is a big decision time for head coach Ron Guilbeault. He's going to keep the offense out there. They're going to toss left and go for that reverse again, and a reverse pass. Nonetheless, they complete it. I don't know if it's enough, though. No, it's not. They're going to turn the ball over, but you got to like...
What a call.
You got to like the attitude there.
Oh, amazing. Toss, reverse, pass. And it was completed. I mean, I know it didn't go for the first down, but, I mean, there's 4 things that can go wrong in that play, and all of them went right. What a great call by the coaching staff.
So they don't get the result that they're looking for, but unbelievable play. It's worth another look here. Reverse pass. Now this receiver didn't really get down.
Got turned around
far enough, and the other thing too is that he did have pressure coming, so he kind of threw it off his back foot. He wasn't able to really get much into it. So they run a misdirection counter there, and that one is sniffed out by the D-line.
That's bread and butter for the Panthers. So that's, that gets them their 4.5 yards, and, they get back to trying to milk this clock and driving the ball down for one final score.
That's Drake Book, I believe, that made the tackle, number 66. He is joined by Hunter Williamson, Jaden Russell, and Brody Hammonster. on the D-line for the Eagles. They've been stout all night. They're going to need a good effort on defense here to withstand the storm.
I'm impressed with the Eagles' defensive line. There's somebody in the backfield all the time.
Little bit of pushing and shoving behind the line of scrimmage as tempers start to flare here.
Now, those guys have been going at each other all night, right? Defensive tackle and guards, they just don't like each other. And it's been 3 quarters of, trying to just knock each other, having fun doing it. I mean, these offensive, defensive line kids, they just love it.
So Sambibona, incomplete pass. He's looking for that deep crossing post that they've been trying to go after for a few times here. London Perron's going to punt, though. And that is going to go right into the waiting arms of the Nepean returner. He safely gets down after a few jukes. And once again, pretty quickly, the Eagles are coming back out on offense.
Punt and punt return at this level is always scary because you got to keep your offense on. So you got a bunch of guys who are not used to running down the field and tackling somebody. And Panthers obviously, did a very good job of it, and only allowed a couple yards in the return.
So as the clock ticks down on the third quarter, it's still 6-0 for the Panthers in this real stalemate of a Mosquito matchup. The Eagles running some trickery, and they're back on offense, looking to get in the end zone on one of the next series that they have the ball. They toss out a wide receiver screen that goes for maybe 2 yards. It's wrapped up by your man at corner, number 2. That's Parker Glover. We've mentioned him a few times. I like this guy. I like DBs.
Yeah.
but he's shown us a lot so far.
I mean, you might miss him. He's probably the smallest kid on the field, but he is a tackling machine. If you want to teach somebody how to tackle, just put video of Parker tackling, and there's no fear, and he plays that corner position with so much confidence, and
he also shows an understanding of the game because he's the first guy that knew the quarter ended and was trying to flip sides.
Yep, he's a really smart player.
So here we go, 2nd and 6, a long 6 for the Nepean Eagles. A critical point, start of the fourth quarter. Now, these are only 10-minute quarters to it, Mosquito, so there's not a lot of time.
I mean, this coaching staff has been aggressive all night, so why not? Why would they change? I mean, I'm expecting something pretty fun right now.
We've got a 5-pack offensive format. That goes to wide receiver screen. They're very close to a first down. Maybe even they're going to measure it. And maybe a player or two down. It's going to be a first down. Yep. We've got 2 players down for each team. So the training staff's going to come out for a sec and tend to the guys.
I think it might be London Perron for the Panthers, and I didn't get a number for the Eagles.
And you'd hate to see London going down at this critical point in the game. He's a leader on the defense. Obviously, we've talked about his return abilities, but very impressed with both defenses. I think these are the highlights. We've talked about some of the big plays that we've seen on offense, but these defenses have kept their teams in and withstood some of the momentum shifts in the game so far. So that's what you want to see out of potentially championship teams is good defense.
Oh, you have to. You have to be able to stop offense. And, this game shows that, you can win games even only scoring 1 touchdown. But if you don't have a defense, it doesn't matter how many touchdowns you score because your defense is going to let in way more than that.
Absolutely. So the NCAFA season, week 7 here. This is actually the start of week 8 in the Mosquito and basically every level other than the midgets who started a week prior to everyone else. And the weather's starting to change, and we're starting to see these really good matchups like the one tonight. The Eagles out of the shotgun. He looks to his right, throws an incomplete pass. Nothing really open there. Parker and London in coverage there, so I guess London's okay. Maybe just knocked the wind out of himself or something.
Well, he would have had to come out.
That's what I thought.
So the trainer, so
maybe that's 38 actually. That's Ryan Schmidt. That's who I was referring to in coverage. So Ryan Schmidt doing a great job in that linebacking core for the Cumberland Panthers. He's actually named team captain this year, too. So the Eagles go long, and they've got it! Getting a little hot and excited here on the mic, but what a completed pass.
Again, 20, 25 yards in the air. Their quarterback took a big shot after that. I think it looked like two Panthers, kind of sandwiched him. So he is kind of shaking his hand a little bit. But even under pressure, he got rid of the ball, made a beautiful pass, and, perfect completion.
I think that was Jet Rose on the completion, if I'm not mistaken. He's been playing football for 5 years already. Started at the mite level. He's always played offense. He's playing receiver this year. And little fun fact, he's a
jet sweep again.
Seattle Seahawks fan.
Yeah, we'll forgive him for that.
What's your team, Mike?
I don't talk about that. I'm a Lions fan.
Yeah,
and it's not pretty, Jess.
It hasn't been pretty since Saunders retired.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the Scott Mitchell, Barry Sanders Detroit Lion fan.
Yeah. I remember those days fondly. But critical point in the game, big completion that gave them about a 45-yard gain, and now they're looking at 2nd and 9, and just inside the red zone. Looks like the Panthers are going to send a player off.
Number 7, Prevost, the quarterback, is still shaking his hand. So obviously, he's toughing it out. And, like we said earlier, he's a former defensive player, so he's not coming out. And but, he's trying to get that feeling back because it's a nice night, but it is, getting chilly, getting on close to 9 o'clock. So
under center, it's Provost. He throws it out to an open receiver. That's Walker. Walker up for close to another first down. Sorry, that's Tanner Hudson Ward. Ward is the receiver there on that.
There's another player down for the Panthers.
So defense, I think, fortunate to have somebody kind of need a moment there because they're definitely wanting to slow this down right now.
Yeah.
Regroup.
Wonder if you got the signal from the sideline.
I wonder.
Go down. You're hurt.
We're talking all night about how well coached they are.
This is big, though. I mean, this isn't the game. There's lots of time left. But, I mean, 3rd down, ball on the 11-yard line. This is an important final play here to get either the first down, and they can still get a first down. The yard marker would be at the 6-yard line, or if they can punch it into the end zone. This is going to be a really important final, right? Not final, but this is going to be a really important play right here.
Definitely going to up the stakes if they can score. If they do score, the question is, do you go for 2? Do you kick? We don't know what kind of kicking situation they have on the Eagles, but they're going to be setting up a final couple great 5 minutes here.
Yeah, it was Damon Clouden that went off under his own power, but he was holding his arm, so hopefully he can come back.
Here we go, Eagles, 3rd down. Running backs release out of the backfield. He lets go, throws it into coverage.
There's a flag. They have they have too many men, the Panthers. This is going to be a first down for the Eagles.
That's going to be a costly penalty. And even, they had time to set up the defense too, right? Where they had the player that was injured that had to come off. They had time to regroup, set it up.
I was looking at the injured player. I didn't see how many players came on for the Panthers, but obviously it was one too many.
And you can see Mike Schmidt just beside himself over there on that mistake. He knows how critical that is.
They had it stopped. It was an incomplete pass, and now it's first down Eagles on the 6-yard line.
Here we go. 7:39 left in the game. Panthers up by only 6 points, which we saw was a run by Marvin.
Yep.
In the,
I believe,
second
side.
quarter. Off the left side. Since then, no points.
It's been back and forth, and, teams have had their chances. No bigger chance than the Eagles have right here, but there has been no more scoring.
They're on the 5-yard line, the Eagles are, and still in that shotgun formation. They've got kind of a bunch set with 3 receivers to the left side, 1 ISO receiver down below. They're looking to the left. He's going to let it go on a corner route. Oh, and just incomplete.
What an effort, though. That he stretched out. I don't know if I can catch a number. They're pretty far away from us here, but what an unbelievable effort. He laid out his entire body to make that catch.
He was close. So we got
just give credit to this receiver if I can see his number, but
yeah,
those white jerseys with a light green number
kind of scrunched
kind of
up
tough.
Too.
Yep.
But you saw that, just an unbelievable effort. The ball, I think, was just a tad overthrown, but he went up for it, climbed the ladder, and that would have been spectacular if he came down with that catch.
We have another player down for the Panthers, so that's what the delay is about.
So let's have a look at that play here, Mike.
I mean, they set it up perfectly. They're running a little crossing pattern, trying to get a receiver free, and
so the running back just releases there. They have that kind of bunch formation. They throw it up, and maybe if he led him a little bit more in the inside shoulder, he would have had a better chance of coming down with that. But nonetheless, a good effort by
great effort
by that offense. So we're back with live action here, and maybe the biggest play of the game for the Nepean Eagles and the Cumberland Panthers. The Panthers trying to punch it in here. Sorry, the Eagles, that is. Similar formation to the last play where they ran that corner. And Provo.
It's the exact same play.
Looks to pass, and this time he's got it. He's got it. Touchdown Eagles. It's a tie ball game. No flags down, and unbelievable.
They ran the exact same play. The formation was a little different. They didn't have a second back in the backfield. They split him out wide to the right side, but exact same route combination, and that time the quarterback put it right in his hands.
Here it is. So sometimes you just go back to what.
One of the reasons they went back to it is because that defensive player covering right there in the end zone had gone down and was injured and left the field, and so they had a backup in. And so they went right back to the same play.
So this, another important play. They're going to go for 2. Back to pass again. He looks for the running back who, just can't adjust and make the catch. So it's going to be a tie game, 6-6.
So that was the exact same play again. They ran, they had the corner route. They had 2 clearings, and they had the receiver, the running back, just running a little shallow out route, flare route, whatever you want to call it. And he just missed catching that in the end zone for 2.
So 6-6 is your score here, and we're seeing the Panthers cheer squad trying to get the fans back into it and try to just stem the momentum a little bit. They put on a great halftime show, as we saw. The Panthers always have a great cheer team. So do the Eagles, actually.
Yeah, the Panthers cheer team is really expanding over the last number of years. We've got 50 girls cheering at 2 different levels, or even 3 different levels, I think. And it's just all these clubs across the city, no matter what organization you're with, the goal of minor sports is participation. Yeah. And the Panthers have a girls touch team, a couple teams. They have almost 50 ladies playing that. There's almost 50 girls playing or cheering, and the Eagles are the same way.
It's great to see, and community involvement, getting everybody out to these games. This is a big play. It's going to be a kickoff, and the Eagles have it. So the Eagles convert the squib kick. I don't really know. It was hard to see if it was mishandled or if they just executed it perfectly, but nonetheless, the Eagles got the ball back with 7 minutes left, and they're fresh off a scoring drive. So they're looking to maybe turn this game around, and the Panthers here, this is a big series for this defense. There needs somebody to step up here, and I think you're looking at that linebacker core to do it. We talked about Duran. We talked about Ryan Schmidt. This is the time now where these two gentlemen need to step up and make a statement.
Team captains and leaders and second-year Mosquitoes need to show that they're older and bigger, stronger, faster than these Eagles.
3 receivers to the Eagles right. He's going to let it go again. He's got a wide open receiver who catches it. He's up to the 20, the 10, stiff arms and stays in bounds for the touchdown.
Nope. They're saying he stepped out just at the 7-yard line.
Well, we're going to have a look at it, but I thought he had a clean line into the end zone there. Nonetheless, called out of bounds. But how did he get so wide open, Mike? I didn't see the
we're going to have to look at the replay.
Kind of a hard view there. We'll wait for the quick extra point here to see what they're going to do.
No, it wasn't a touchdown, right? So they got first down on the 6.
Right, my mistake. So here we go. Panthers faithful getting loud here. You hear the cowbells. You hear the cheering. It's a timeout for the Eagles. They want to make sure that they got the right play call here.
I think it was Panthers are getting charged with this one. Coach Schmidt wants to have the right play called.
And we're going to just go to the replay here, and I want to see how that receiver was so wide open. That was
27, Tanner.
Hudson Ward was wide open there, and the quarterback found him. So here we go. Let's have a look at this. So they run the slant underneath, which kind of draws maybe the corner in. He follows the slant. They run the corner out around him.
From the slot back.
He's wide
10
open.
or 27 and 25 play.
But I wonder if he stepped out.
Slot. You're saying he stepped out right there with a crowd, with that gentleman's toque.
It's hard to see.
Blocks our view.
Back to live action here. What a game we've got so far, Mike.
It's exciting. This is great. I'm glad I'm up here and not on the sidelines, Jesse.
I do miss coaching, though.
I do, too. I had the pleasure and the privilege of coaching our mites this year, our junior Panthers. My little guy started. He's 5.
Nice.
And I'm back in it now after a couple years off.
Here we go. Eagles out of the shotgun. 2 running backs to the left. And it's going to be a quarterback's sneak. And, oh, what a defensive play there. He does manage to stay on his feet. He gets a great block. It's an illegal block, though.
That's why it was great.
He's fighting to get in. It's going to be all for naught. It's coming back. Maybe an ill-advised block. I think maybe he didn't have the numbers in the front facing him there. But
the receivers know, but it's hard when it's coming at you and you want to make a block for your quarterback.
That's it. You're trying to make a play for your buddy, and sometimes the angles don't work up, and before you know it, you're doing something wrong. But that will be an illegal block, so that'll send him back 5 yards. 6:16 left in the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you joined us online, we've got Mike Rouleau and Jesse Card up here calling the game with HESN Live. We've got NCAFA Mosquito football. Nepean Eagles taking on the Cumberland Panthers, 2 undefeated teams, ranked 1 and 2 respectively, and 2 teams that both have their eyes on a good postseason finish here, all culminating in November at the Sportsplex Minto Field. It's going to be a great championship weekend.
Yeah, I saw that this year. They moved it back to Minto with the new turf. It's going to be a great weekend.
And they go back to the corner. And I think that's a PI. If I've ever seen one, they don't call it. That's going to be a contentious call. But
Eagles coaches are pointing, and we can't hear them from here, but probably saying some things to the ref, hopefully respectfully. Telling him just, I think you missed it, sir.
We always hope it's respectful, but I do think they missed one on there. I think the ball was catchable. But nonetheless, that quarterback Provost, he's kind of limping around out there. He's had a hard night. He's earned his paycheck here. He's out of the shotgun again, looking again to that same play. This time they get it. Touchdown Eagles! Unbelievable. They go back to that play again, and you've got to wonder, maybe if the Panthers defense saw that maybe 3 or 4 out of the last 5 plays. They've got to get somebody over there.
They do, and you know, kudos to the Eagles. This game can be way more complicated if the coaches make it complicated, but they know the play works. Just because it hadn't been completed a couple times, they saw that the players were wide open, and they caught it for the touchdown, both touchdowns, and go back to what works. The kids know it. They probably run that play 1,000 times in practice.
They probably scored on it a ton this season already, right? And you're right. I think sometimes coaches just overthink it a little bit too much, especially at this level. You've got that athlete-on-athlete situation at this level, and if you can get the ball to the guy that makes the catch 9 out of 10 times, he's probably going to make the catch.
Yep, the job of a coach is to put the players in a position to succeed. It's not to inflate your ego. It's not to show how much Madden you play. If you know something works and it's working, throw it. And these coaches are doing it. They're creative coaches on the Eagles sideline, but they also understand that we have something. We have a route combination or a one-on-one matchup with a player that is working. And so we're going to go back to it as much as we need to. And they've taken the lead in the last 4 minutes. They've taken the lead.
Like you said in the second quarter, the coach checked that play off and said, hey, let's come back to that. Not only do they come back to it, they come back to it 4 times in a row, and they score a touchdown, the go-ahead score. Now they get the ball back again on the kickoff. So really things going wrong to worse for the Cumberland Panthers here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's starting to spiral. You know, you've got the kids, you know, you got number 9, Owen Mina, who, you know, he's holding his helmet and he's got his head down coming off the sidelines. He knows it was, you know, that ball was his and he should have corralled it. But, you know, those coaches will settle them down. And it's only one score.
There's still lots of time.
Lots of time.
Yeah, in Mosquito football, 5 minutes is an eternity. And
especially against a team like the Eagles who throw the ball a lot, because it's going to stop the clock every play. So we'll see if the Eagles decide that it's time to start running the ball and let the clock keep running.
So here they go, first down again for the Eagles. Passing situation again. They're looking over the middle. He did have the receiver, but he was in a lot of traffic there. I believe London Perron had the coverage.
Reed Provost took another shot. He's on his knee. He's down. He's gonna get the trainer out here, and he's gonna have to come out. That's gonna be a big blow to the Eagles. They're gonna have to put a backup quarterback in.
But let's see what they have. You know, if they have to move a running back up to quarterback, or you know, we'll see what happens here. Like you said, but really that quarterback is a big part of that Eagles offense. I think they've run maybe, you know, a handful of times, right? And they've run a reverse 2 out of those times. So this passing game, there's no surprises for teams that face this Eagles Mosquito team. Like, they're passing, and you better get your guys back. The Panthers, you know, fell victim to that. Maybe not giving enough respect over on that side with the 3 receiver bunch. That leads to, well, nearly 14 points there for the Eagles in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of coaching you know, they've done in their preparation for this game and for their season. How much time and effort and snaps they gave to a backup quarterback, or maybe this is now the time where they just say, okay, we're going to hand the ball off. And you know, even if they hand the ball off on those jet sweeps, they're going to be putting the ball in their athletes' hands, right?
So Provo definitely, you know, if he doesn't come back, he sure earned his keep on this team this evening, and he's put his team in a good position here to come away with the W. 5:26 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it looks like they were working on his leg, and this is that's the medical staff Tyke and Mosquito way of getting somebody off the field. These kids are still small enough that a big coach can come and just pick them right up.
Yeah, certainly want to check them out first before you do that, but they did. And we've got a new quarterback in here for the Eagles on 2nd and 10. He's under center, and he's just going to hand the ball off simply. And that dive play goes for about 2.5 yards. So the Eagles.
So it looks like Matthew Larkin, number 31, is their backup quarterback.
So Larkin's
usually plays wide receiver.
Larkin's taking the reins here. A lot of pressure for a quarterback to have to be thrown into action here and called upon to maybe take this game home.
And this is where you put him in a position to succeed. Don't put too much on him.
Right.
But at the same time, you got to keep running your offense. And
That's right.
this is obviously third down now, punting situation.
They're going to get a good punt off. Could this be the moment we've been waiting for? London with the ball. There's a flag on the field, but he gets some yardage there before going down. But, I mean, that's the kind of moment we've been looking for, and what a time that would have been to have him break one.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a hold on the Panthers. That's going to back them up a little bit, but at least they got the ball back with no more damage, and now it's their turn to go back to work on offense.
So the score is 12-6 for the Eagles. And what a game we've got here tonight, Mike. This is going to come right down to the wire, and very interested to see what happens to the Eagles quarterback there, Reed Provo, because he might be needed still in this game. Hope he's all right. But the Panthers will have the ball. There's a hold that shaves a couple yards off of their return there, but they're going to start from about the 20-yard line here. 4:20 left in the ball game. 3 receivers to the strong side, and that's going to be number 15 that just takes it himself. And a really good gain there. Once again, fighting for every last yard. The one thing you got to do is protect the ball when you're fighting for those extra yards. So many times you can see that ball gets stripped in situations like that. So ball security for the Panthers, I think, is paramount here.
Yeah, they moved Shiloh McKendy to quarterback, and he's used to taking snaps. Like I said before, he was the quarterback of the Tyke team last year that won the A Cup. So, who knows why? Maybe, I don't know if Tristan's hurt, or maybe they just don't want to risk handoffs. Maybe just have Shiloh take the ball and go. But whatever the rationale and the reasoning is from Coach Perham, they obviously had a great gain on the first down.
We did see a bobbled snap in the first quarter, so you're quite right. That could be some of the thinking there. Shiloh takes it himself, this time to the left. Not much doing there. He's going to set up a 2nd and 7.
We'll see if they go back right. Obviously, they've had a lot of success in the last couple of plays going right.
But like you said, Mike, I don't think they want to let off the gas here. They need a score, and their time is ticking away here on the Cumberland Panthers. The Eagles lost their quarterback, so maybe their scoring capabilities are hindered quite a bit here. It's going to be a straight handoff. He bounces around trying to find some daylight, but he's only going to gain maybe 3 yards on that run.
Big decision here. I mean, less than 3 minutes to go, only 1 timeout, and they still got to get 5 yards. And Coach Schmidt's telling them to call a play and go for it, so the offense is staying on the field.
On the flip side, though, you've got a defense that hasn't let up a point until tonight. So if they do need to rely on their defense to come up with another stop, they could do that. But with 3rd and only 5 to go, maybe this is the time to take the chance. 3rd and 5 for the Panthers. They'll need a score to tie this game. And pressure, he avoids it, and he's going to let it rip downfield. It's going to be knocked down. Another wise defensive play, knocking it down and not intercepting it. They'll get the ball 25 yards further up the field because of that knockdown.
Yeah, so impressed with these kids on both sides. Their football knowledge. They understand down and distance. They understand situational football, and that easily could have been, the kid could have wanted an interception, right? We play DB. What do you play DB for? To get interceptions when the ball's in the air. And nope, just knock it right down and let's move our offense back on the field. Like you said, yeah, 25 yards further up the field.
Well, it's a good thing we don't keep stats at the Mosquito level, because maybe that we'll start seeing some more picks on 3rd down if we do. But we don't. And here we go. The Eagles got the ball back. And maybe they're just looking to choose some time and convert a few first downs. There's a bit of a delay in the game here. The refs are sorting it out. Looks like somebody came on late for the Panthers. We've seen them have 13 men on the field one time there at a crucial point. So this defense looking to really step up here in the fourth quarter to put their team in a position, get the ball back to the offense, give them at least the opportunity of tying this game up.
So I think the Panthers are being charged with their last timeout. We'll have to wait and see what the official...
Ron Gilboa's out there talking to the ref. It's a timeout, so he's going to come out and talk to his team. Mike Schmidt's coming out to gather his defense.
Yeah, Coach Schmidt's the head coach and also the defensive coordinator of this Panthers team, so he's out to talk to his team on this timeout.
So an interesting fact about the Eagles head coach. This is Gilboa, Ron. He's been coaching for 16 years in the Redskins-Eagles organization. Really dedicated community leader there, I'd say. But this is his first year as a head coach. So, you know, having a very inexperienced team, a lot of players that have never played the sport before. They're 5-0, and he's the first time he's a head coach. So maybe the coach is kind of mirroring the team a little bit. They've got a little bit of an identity, and sometimes that can work wonders for a team. Yeah,
they could also be a little just green and not really understanding, you know, what's going on. You know, the impact or the monumental, you know,
the levity,
yeah, being 5-0 and at this, you know, playing a high level of football at this level. But if he's been around for that long, I think he's probably, hopefully for him, had a few successful seasons under his belt and is able to pass on that knowledge to these kids.
So relief quarterback under center, throws it out to the screen. He's looking to cut back in, but then goes north up the field wisely and brings it up probably maybe a yard short of the first down. Not the prettiest ball, but
I like the Eagles.
Completion,
you know,
nonetheless.
I like them being who they are, right? You back up quarterback in, still throwing the ball around. Their offense is predicated on that. They don't necessarily put their best athletes at running back. They put their best athletes at the receiver position and get the ball to them quick and let them do something with it up the field. There were 2 big missed tackles by the Panthers in the backfield, and all of a sudden, 7 yards later.
2nd and 4, they're going to hand off. Absolutely swallowed up by the D-line. It's number 50 in there, number 36. Ryan Schmidt in there on the tackle. Also, Diego Santana is in there on the gang tackle as well. And, you know, I think that's another thing we should talk about successful teams. If you do get up with your starters, if you can rotate more guys in and get more experience to some other people at the quarterback, running back positions. Parent's got the ball, and he's got some space. He's running up the sideline. He's got some room.
He's gone, Jesse.
And he's just past the last defender, and no flags on the field. London Parent. We've been calling it all night and waiting for it. No bigger time in the game for him to break one on the punt return.
So I want to call myself a little forecasting expert, but
Tony Romo.
Yeah, it didn't look like they had actually set up what I was expecting them to set up, which was you know, a wall right to that side. But they've been running it all year. But and I called it in the pregame. I said that's something you're going to want to look for. Coach Schmidt, I know him, and he loves his special teams. And it turned into one heck of a play for the Panthers.
So let's have a quick look at this before we get back to live action. It's a clean punt.
They are set up. They are set up for wall right. They've got a couple guys looking to make those blocks. And there he goes.
And listen, this last guy just barely shoelaced him. But the speed is just too much of London Parent. He gets his team back into this game at the right time.
And so interesting, the Panthers have decided to run a play from scrimmage.
And look for that toss right or toss left. I'm going left. Procedure. But they're looking for a toss right. What a game we've got here at Millennium Field. We've got the beautiful new facility that came in, Mike. How big has this been for football in the East End?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's given not only the Panthers, but the Bengals who play here from Orleans, they play their home games here as well. You know, an elite facility to just pack on a Wednesday night, and gives these kids such an opportunity to play under the lights on a turf field with a scoreboard like this, and these stands and a press box so that we can have guys like you come out and broadcast.
It's a toss right, like we saw the previous play. He's going to get wrestled down. It's going to remain 12-12 here. Only a minute 39 left. We got a tie ball game. And, you know, this kickoff's going to be an important one. We've already seen the Eagles recover two.
The Panthers recovered one earlier.
So look for maybe the onside kick. Hopefully get a lucky bounce. Get the ball back to your offense. But unbelievable finish to this game. We expected nothing less, really.
Yeah, you got the top two teams.
Top two teams.
I mean, it's tied with a minute 39 to go. That's what the two best teams in a division, the game should be.
We've got the facility. We've got it broadcast. We've got, I'm really curious to see the numbers. Their podcasts at HESN talking about the Mosquito and Pee Wee and Bantam levels and midget and some of the extracurricular happenings of Ottawa football are getting about 10,000 people each episode, reaching about 2,000 or 3,000 views. Football seems to be ready to take the next step in Ottawa, I believe. And when you see the product that we are putting on the field at the Mosquito level with these two teams, and maybe the Dome coming to this field and maybe ramping up the off-season touch, getting more kids into the game, we're in a good spot here for football in the nation's capital. The Eagles recover the ball safely, so that will bring out the Eagles offense, but they're definitely hamstringed by the fact that their starting star quarterback has had to take a step out. We'll see if he's able to return here for this series. Yeah. Otherwise, we might see a little bit of a...
I think somebody's number 7's putting his helmet back on. Here he comes.
Unbelievable. Here he comes. Number 7 returns to his team to see out the last minute and a half of the game. And if I was the defensive back and the safety here, I'd be having sweaty palms here, okay?
So the defensive back or the safety, the halfback on that side, London Perron, and number 12, Tyrell Wallace.
But number 9, Nathan Curry, is down isolated at the bottom of the screen. He's running the slant. Quarterback gets outside the pocket. He's going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage, and what a defensive tackle in the open field by number 50, and he gives you a little how's it going to the crowd.
I love the enthusiasm. I love the, you know, he sees that probably on Saturdays and Sundays when he watches film, but at this age, you got to watch some of that stuff.
That's Diego Espinoza Santana. What a great name, too.
Love the energy, but you got to calm that down, because wouldn't the worst thing in the world be for that little orange flag to come out because you were celebrating too much?
You see the crowd is getting into it here at Millennium. We've got a 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. Their quarterback's back, I formation. He's under center, and they've got a lot of defenders over there covering that number 27. But the Eagles run that wide receiver screen, and they're able to get a first down again. So
chess match, right? So the Panthers defensive coaches have told their DBs and their safeties to back up because we don't want to give out that corner again. Well, you back up. You are now given an opportunity to run that little hitch, and that little hitch to the wide receiver, and wide open. And what it did is, yeah, it didn't go for a touchdown, but it allowed him to get 7, 8, 9 yards, make the first down, because that all the Panthers had to come and converge to make the tackle instead of being close to the line of scrimmage.
Well, as a successful OC yourself, Mike, you can finish the line, take what they
give you. I mean, if they're going to back up, then I'm going to throw short. If they're going to come close to me, I'm going to throw deep. And, you know, the offensive coordinator, Jason Hudson, for the Eagles is you know, on the ball. He is doing exactly what a coach at this level should be doing. He's putting his players in a position to succeed by not having all kinds of ego and just giving the quarterback plays that he knows they can run, not trying to come up with stuff on the fly. Hitch, screen, corner. That's what they're looking to run.
12-12, tie ball game, 1 minute left. Mosquito, we got Panthers, we got Eagles, and we've got that isolated receiver down to the bottom of the screen. He's going up top, though. A little bit of contact, probably not enough to draw a flag, and I think that's a good no call.
Yeah, I agree with that one. We saw one earlier that we both agreed probably, could have, should have been called, but I think that one they were both looking for the ball, and they were both kind of fighting to go towards the ball, so no call on that one.
Inconsequential. But, I'm looking at these Eagles formations, and you got to get nervous because they've got this receiver that they isolated down there. He's been running 3-yard slants the whole day, but maybe he runs a little bit of a slant and go, and it's all she wrote for the Panthers.
And, again, matchups. He's a big receiver, so they've got him now on the boundary on the boundary side. They haven't isolated him down here this play, but I can see them easily going back to that.
That's Nathan Curry there. So not much time for the quarterback. He loses the ball. He's just going to jump on it.
Yeah, I think he got it back.
But a good defensive play at a great time for the Panthers. 66 of the Panthers. He's Corey Sheridan on the D-line. I think we go to OT in Mosquito if it is a tie after the zeros come up on the clock. But right now, we still got 35 seconds and counting. The Eagles on third down in about 15. Why not?
What do we think's coming, Jess?
Well, I'd be surprised if it wasn't a corner, but it's over the top. It's intercepted. Intercepted over the middle. He might have enough to go the whole way. He's going to try to be caught. He will be caught. Oh, he gets loose. Unbelievable. Finally ripped out of bounds. But 11.5 seconds left. That's Provo, who throws over the middle, intercepted.
We said that play was coming. We said that the backside slant was going to be there. Isolated to number 18. And he just put it into a Panther's hand. Just didn't hit his receiver across the middle.
Let's have a look at that one, Mike. What a critical play on defense.
He's nice and calm in the pocket, and I think he has that same corner route that we've been talking about all night.
There's a timeout on the field, so we've got time. He throws it over. It's a little bit overthrown, and a solid catch. And he just takes it. I thought he got loose there at the end. He's running down the sideline, shakes off 2 defenders here. Maybe you want to see maybe a bit of an effort by the quarterback to make the tackle there, but especially for a guy that has played defense.
I was a little worried that Ashton was going to keep fighting for yards, and all of a sudden the clock was going to run out on him.
That's true. That could have been another outcome. Would have been a tie right away. But you can't ask for a better game here.
It's been fantastic.
We've had some touchdowns, running touchdowns, passing touchdowns,
big
interceptions, trick plays. But we're still tied 12-12 here, and the Panthers will start with the ball deep in the Eagles' territory. 11.5 seconds left on the clock. Look for that toss. No, they're going to come out and pass. A little bit overthrown. And, I think as a defense here, it's also important that you don't take an unnecessary roughness or a stupid play like hitting the quarterback late after he releases the ball. That would just be a backbreaker at this point. So
games can't end under a defensive penalty, right? So with 7 seconds left, if there's a silly play by the defense, you don't want to give them one more try.
A little bit of a different formation with a little bit of a wing back there. They're going to go for a reverse off of the sweep. He's got some room. I don't think he's going to score, though, but zeros on the clock, and he's wrapped up. And we've got a tie ball game at the end. We're going to be going into extra innings, I think.
I'll be honest. I've been out of it for a couple years. I can't remember the overtime rules.
Oh, the whole teams are coming
out
here.
I'm not sure there is overtime.
So this might be a tie, ladies and gentlemen. And
it is.
The
coaches are smiling and laughing at each other, and
this is kind of like one of those boxing matches that go the distance, and then they give each other a big hug at the end of it.
Everybody's clapping. Players are clapping. Coaches are clapping. Fans are clapping. What a game. I have a feeling these two teams will be seeing each other again in the playoffs.
So the question becomes, based on this year's playoff format, and I don't know for sure, but the question now remains, these teams will face each other again, but will it be in the semifinal or – and listen, we're giving them credit. There's lots of teams in that division. And
lots of football left.
Anything can happen. We know that. But if they did advance into the semifinals, would they face each other then or in the possible A-Cup championship?
Yeah, I can't I don't know how many teams are in this division, so I think that also will play a factor in it. But, you know, they don't go east-west anymore. In NCAFA, it's just, 1 to 8. And so, if they both finish 1-2, they will inevitably only be able to meet each other in the finals.
Well, we look at our Week 7 power rankings here. We had Cumberland 1, Eagles 2. They come out with a tie tonight in a 12-12 tie. Power rankings from 1 and 2 probably will not change because of this, but this is setting up some major hype moving forward.
Oh yeah, I mean the rest of their season, they know what to expect now. They know that they've probably seen each other's entire playbook on offense and defense. The coaches are going to go back and watch the film and come out and they both have another game. I know the Panthers play next Wednesday as well. I'm not sure when the Eagles. I think they play Saturday. This coming Saturday. So they've got some work to do. But this is going to be a really exciting finish to the Mosquito level.
Well, we're going to try to go down and get a quick post-game interview with a few of these coaches and players. But it's been a fantastic game. We couldn't have asked for more. And we will take a short break and talk to some of the teams, some of the members here, and see what their game reflections are.
Perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away just yet. As we're putting the headsets away, we see a few league officials, Mark Ouellette, Steve Dean, the president, the two coaching staffs are out there shaking hands. It looks like there's a discussion being had there about if they're going to go to overtime. I don't think they are. Mark's given the signal no. They decided to go with the tie. There are restrictions on how long we can stay out here, and I kind of like it ending the way it has, Mike.
Yeah, I was just trying to look up on the in the league rules, but it's these are also 10 and 11-year-olds, and we're pushing 9:30 and on a school night. So I think probably whatever the actual rule is, I think both coaches probably did a handshake. Let's call it a tie and go home.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah,
no
probably.
doubt.
I mean, everybody probably wants to keep playing. These kids will play all night if we let them, but it was one heck of a game. It's not probably really going to affect the standings. So they probably just said it's time to go.
Right. And I think a good call. On behalf of the whole HESN crew, I'm Jesse Card, producer Steve, and Mike Rouleau. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. You were great. I want to thank our everyone watching online, tuning in to HESN Live for this Mosquito matchup. We will have a podcast at the end of the week. We've got a lot to talk about. And then we'll be back with a couple more weeks before the postseason. Good night, and we'll see everyone soon.
For its support of this broadcast.